You don't have to go that far back. You only have to go back a half a century to Joe DiMaggio, who had a 56-game hitting streak, and Ted Williams, who hit .406 that year. Feats that have never been accomplished since, and possibly, likely, never will be accomplished. It's a different game now. Pitchers are much more specialized, and we thought we would talk to some of the players, ask them if they thought .406 and 56 were attainable.
The year was 1941, a record year in the history of baseball. A year when two of the game's all-time greats etched their names in baseball lore forever. Joe DiMaggio of the Yankees set a record by hitting safely in 56 consecutive games, and Ted Williams of the Red Sox batted an astonishing .406, becoming the first player since Bill Terry of the New York Giants to top the coveted mark. Entering the final day of the 1941 season, Ted was hitting .400 and was given the option of sitting out the final doubleheader against the Philadelphia A's, thus ensuring his .400 season. The self-assured Williams scoffed at the thought of protecting his average and declared he'd played both games. Williams proceeded to bang out 6 hits in 8 at-bats, finishing the season at .406. Good enough for the batting title, but not good enough for the MVP. That award went to Joe DiMaggio for a dream season that included a 56-game hitting streak. During the streak, he hit .408 with symbolic totals of 56 runs scored and 56 singles. And just for good measure, Joltin' Joe hit in 17 more, beginning the day after the streak was stopped. It's been 50 summers since the splendid Splinter and the Yankee Clipper dominated the headlines with talk of their hitting prowess. Yes, the old saying, records are made to be broken, has applied to most. Aaron eventually overtook Ruth in home runs, Rose surpassed Cobb in hits, and even recently Henderson raced by Brock in stolen bases. But DiMaggio and Williams have stood the test of time, and 50 years later, the question remains, are their records untouchable? It's been 11 years since George Brett took aim at .400, only to fall 10 points shy at .390. 3 years earlier, Rod Carew flirted with .400 as well, ending up with a not-so-shabby .388. No one has come close since then. Will we ever see another .400 hitter?
The only way someone could break it is like George did in 1980, when you barely qualify for the batting title with just enough plate appearances and hit for a lofty average. A guy that plays every day. Nobody's going to walk 150, 160 times anymore.
To be a .400 hitter, you have to be able to take walks. You know, Ted Williams took a lot of walks. He didn't go up there and swing at every pitch that was thrown up there. When I left the batting circle, every pitch, if it was close, I'm going to try and make contact and put it in play. And if I had waited, if I had been more patient, and if I had gotten more walks, I probably would have done it.
Teams have a lot of, like, 2 or 3 left-handers in the bullpen, and they'll bring in a left-hander just to face one guy. And then if that guy comes up again with guys in scoring position or a crucial part of the game, they'll bring in another left-hander to face him. Here the other night, I came up to bat, and they brought in Tony Fossas, a left-hander who throws sidearm sliders almost every pitch. He faced one batter, me.
I see .400 coming in the future.
Lenny Dykstra got out of the blocks good last year, and couldn't hold on. So, I mean, in order to achieve that, I think that you got to really get out of the gate and be hot all year long.
Many experts consider DiMaggio's hitting streak baseball's crowning achievement. Only Pete Rose's memorable 44-game streak in 1978 has given the legendary Yankee Clipper any real cause for concern. Paul Molitor's streak reached 39 in 1987, but as the game has changed, the chances of anyone hitting in 56 straight games seems remote.
The fact that you're not facing the same pitcher as maybe Joe did 4 times for 4 cracks at a pitcher on a given day, and the travel, and the ballparks, and the night games. There's just so many things that can happen that can stop a streak like that.
Once you get to 44, 45, here comes the media again, and they're constantly hounding you. You're having press conferences before the game. You really can't concentrate on what you're doing, and I think there again, the media will end the streak before the person would end the streak.
To be able to go out there with days you don't feel good, you're not swinging good, and still manage to get that one hit for 56 straight days. There's going to be times throughout everybody's career when they're going to go out and feel good for 2 or 3 weeks, and they're going to have a 15, 20-game hitting streak. But to do that for almost 2 months is unheard of in my mind.
The consensus among today's hitting elite is that Wade Boggs and Tony Gwynn have the best shot at either record. But for the time being, Ted and Joe can still smile, knowing that their Herculean feats remain safely tucked away in Cooperstown.